This is Julian speaking, welcoming you to another battle report out of the breach. I thank all of you for your positive responses to the last battle report. I am happy that all of the editing work is worth it and you enjoy the content here. Let's continue Titania's journey. After all the ghosts had vanished and Kirai left the battlefield, it was the Silent Knight who picked up Titania's body just to recognize that she is still breathing. Retrieving her and her broken wings back to the forest where she could heal again. But not long after regaining her strength, she senses intruders. Despite their pact, Marcus came with his beasts to challenge the Queen. Let's see who wins this turf war. The strategy is called Turf War. The battlefield is divided in 4 quarters. There are 5 height 5 impassable strategy markers, 1 on the center point and 1 in the center of each quarter. Strategy markers can be friendly, neutral or enemy to a crew. A model in base contact with a strategy marker can take the interact action to change a marker from enemy to neutral or from neutral to friendly. If a model is killed, the killing model can change the marker in the same quarter as the killed model from enemy to neutral. The central marker is considered in all 4 quarters. A crew can earn a victory point if it has more friendly strategy markers at the end of a turn than it has gained victory points from this strategy. So a crew should have 1 friendly strategy marker at the end of turn 2, 2 on turn 3 and so on. The schemes are: Breaktrough. A model tries to get into the enemy deployment zone and drop scheme markers. Hidden Martyrs. 2 models are secretly chosen, 1 should be killed during the game and the other one should be left alive. Catch and Release. A secretly chosen minion has to be within 1 inch of an enemy master or henchman and not engaged by another enemy model at the end of a turn, and survive the game after that dangerous task. Let them bleed. Try to get the 2 most expensive models from your enemy down to half of their wounds for the first point, and try to get a wound on all but 1 enemy model at the end of the game. Research Mission. A model has to be within 4 inches of 3 different types of markers on the enemy table half at the end of a turn. At the end of the game, there should be 3 models on the enemy table half, each within 2 inches of a different type of marker. So it's banned with Titania for the Neverborn, against Björn with Marcus for the Arcanists. And here we see Titania with her keyword Fae. She brings her totem, the Gorar, her henchman Aslan, the puppet of swirling blades Hinamatsu, the hooded rider, an autumn knight, a Boltangen, and a wicked doll, leaving 7 soulstones for the battle. And here we see Marcus with his keyword Chimera. He brings his totem, the Jackalope, his henchman, Miranda, the Mechanical Rider, the Scorpius, Paul Crooked, a Saber-tooth Cerberus, and a Razor-spine Rattler, leaving 2 soulstones for the battle. Shortly you will see the chosen schemes. If you do not want to know, just close your eyes for a few seconds and I will let you know when to open them again. Wait, still interesting stuff on the screen. One moment. And now you can open them again. And here we see the crews after deployment. And before we begin, a sanitized handshake because of the one who shall not be named. Turn 1. Here we see the control hand of Marcus and the Chimera keyword. And here of Titania and her Fae. The Fae win the initiative and hand it over to the Chimera. And Marcus, the Master of Mutations, activates. Because of his ability Guided Evolution, he has to discard all mutation upgrades on him and can decide to attach a mutation upgrade. There are 5 possible mutation upgrades to choose from: Armored Plates, Natural Camouflage, Formidable Horns, Serrated Teeth and Claws, and Feathered Wings. And he chooses Formidable Horns and gains Charge Through and an Onslaught trigger to his claw actions. He does that primarily because of his Primal Domain aura. Once per activation, when a friendly model within 6 inches discards a mutation upgrade, he can draw a card. And on his next activation, he has to discard all his upgrades and can draw. He uses Chimerancy to attach the upgrade Feathered Wings to Paul Crooked. The target number is 10 plus the cost of the upgrade and each mutation upgrade already attached to the target. Feathered Wings has a cost of 1, so he needs a 4. Succeeds, and Paul is growing a pair of wings. He gains Flight, Move +1, and Butterfly Jump. Then Marcus uses Chimerancy again, targeting the Scorpius and wants to give him Armored Plates. He needs a 5 and succeeds with a mask and can declare the Quick Reflexes trigger to take the action again, targeting a different model. The Scorpius gains another instance of armor for a total armor +2 and the ability to hunker down. It gains shielded +2 at the end of its activation if it did not move. For the trigger action, he targets the Saber-tooth Cerberus and tries to give him Natural Camouflage. Succeeds, and the Saber-tooth gains Disguised and Stealth. And Marcus uses Chimerancy again, targeting the Razor-spine Rattler for Feathered Wings, and cheats with a mask for the Quick Reflexes trigger. the snake grows a pair of wings, and Marcus targets Miranda for natural camouflage and succeeds. Marcus uses his bonus action Primal Roar, cheats for a success, and declares the Surge trigger to draw a card. Friendly beast and chimera models within the pulse of 6 may move 3 inches. And here we see the drawn card. The Wicked Doll walks once and interacts with a strategy marker to change its alignment from neutral to friendly. Paul Crooked can interact with the marker right away because he can deploy 1 inch further up the field with his Home in the Range ability, and then he concentrates for focused +1. The Boltangen walks and interacts with a strategy marker. Miranda interacts with the marker and takes the concentrate action. Then she uses her bonus action Aspects of the Wild. She discards a mutation upgrade and attaches a mutation upgrade, choosing the one she had before. She is within 6 inches of Marcus, and he can draw a card because of Primal Domain. The Gorah walks once and takes the concentrate action. The Jackalope walks twice. And Aslan walks twice. The Scorpius walks once and takes the concentrate action. The Autumn Knight walks twice. The Razor Spine Rattler walks once and takes the concentrate action. Hinamatsu walks once and targets Titania with her lure. The Queen relents and Hinamatsu cheats a 6 to succeed. The Sabertooth Cerberus walks once and concentrates. Titania flies over the house and targets the underbrush marker behind the tree with the Queen's command, and moves it 3 inches. She concentrates for focused, and then she uses Germinate, succeeds, and can create a new underbrush marker. The Mechanical Rider walks once and concentrates. The Hooded Rider succeeds in a ride with me, pushes 5 inches, and places Aslan in base contact with himself. He concentrates and walks once. And that's the end of turn 1. The Sabertooth Cerberus and the Razorspine Rattler don't want to use their Deadly Pursuit, but the Boltangen does. And here is an overview over the battlefield. Turn 2. The Fae win the initiative and hand it over to Marcus and the Chimera. The Jackalope walks twice, fails his leap and doesn't want to cheat. The Autumn Knight walks once and places a scheme marker. Paul Crooked activates and aims with his long carbine at the Autumn Knight. Uses his focus because the knight is in cover and his carbine can ignore the concealment of the underbrush marker. But the attack misses. The second attack hits and Paul flips damage at double negative, resulting in weak damage of 2, reduced by 1 because of the armor. Quick note from editing, we missed one negative modifier. It should have been triple negative. One from the difference in the duel, one from the knight's hard to wound, and one from cover. Then Paul tries to kick up dust to create a dust cloud marker, but the action fails. The Wicked Doll concentrates, walks once, and fails in its bonus action Creep Along. Marcus activates and discards Formidable Horns and attaches Serrated Teeth and Claws. He can draw a card because of Primal Domain, and at this point he has more than 6 cards in his control hand and has to discard 2 hand size. Then he uses Chimerancy to attach Formidable Horns to the Sabertooth. The target number is 13 because the Sabertooth has a mutation upgrade with a cost of 2 already attached. Marcus cheats and can declare the Quick Reflexes trigger. Targets the Rattler with armored plates, but the action fails. He tries it again, succeeds this time, and the Rattler gains the armored plates. Third action, Chimerancy again, targeting the Scorpius with Formidable Horns. Cheats for the success and can declare the Quick Reflexes trigger. Targets Miranda with Serrated Teeth and Claws and succeeds. And he fails with Primal Roar and ends his activation. The Gorah walks once and concentrates. The Mechanical Rider fails a ride with me, walks forwards, and targets the Hooded Rider with her Chain Spear. Cheats for the hit and spends 2 Fate token and declares the Arcane Ritual trigger. Flips damage at triple negative, resulting in weak damage of 2. And she can draw 3 cards for the Arcane Ritual. The Hooded Rider charges to attack the Mechanical Rider, spends his focus for the attack. After cheating on both sides, the attack hits, and the Rider flips damage at double negative, resulting in weak damage of 3. The second attack fails with the Black Joker, no luck for the Hooded Rider. The Scorpius charges to attack the Hooded Rider and uses its focus for Venomous Strike. Cheats for the hit and can declare the Infect trigger with 2 crows, and the Rider spends 1 Fate token for a mask to reduce the damage by 1. A straight damage flip, double negative from the duel and the hard to wound, and double positive from focus and charge through because of the Formidable Horns, resulting in weak damage of 2 reduced by 1 and poison plus 3 because of the inbuilt poison and the Infect trigger. The second attack hits again with the Infect trigger. The Rider cheats to get the damage flip on a single negative, resulting in weak damage of 2 and poison goes up to 6. Titania activates, flies once, and charges to attack the Rattler. The Rattler is within 3 inches of Miranda and within her Huntress aura to get positives to defense duels. And the Rattler defends with Red Joker and the attack misses. She targets the marker under the Scorpius with Queen's Command and moves it. After the move, it is in base contact with the Scorpius and the Razor Spine, and both suffer 1 point of damage. Quick note from editing. Good to see both models in base contact with the marker, because I found a mistake we made in the last battle report. We played the marker as hazardous during the move, so everything it moved through suffered damage. But the ability clearly states, move the marker, full stop, then every model in base contact with the marker suffers 1 damage. How easy it is to misread some rules. Titania attacks the Scorpius with her awakened hunger. Gets a positive because the Scorpius is in severe terrain and hits. Flips damage at a single negative, resulting in weak damage of 2, reduced to 1 because of the armor, and the Scorpius gains injured +1. The Razor Spine Rattler activates and suffers 1 because of Titania's Life Leech aura, and attacks her with Venomous Strike, but misses. Attacks again, cheats for the hit, and can declare the trigger Tear of a Bite to heal for 2. Flips damage at triple negative, resulting in severe damage of 4. But Titania's Cruel Disappointment aura prevents that, and she suffers moderate damage of 3 and gains poison +1. The Razor Spine Rattler forgets the Hunker Down ability of the armored plates. Because it didn't move during its activation, it would have gained shielded +2. Aslan walks once and attacks the Mechanical Rider with Decay to see some rust on the Steel Horse. The attack hits, and she flips damage at triple negative, resulting in weak damage of 2 and injured +1. Miranda activates, suffers 1, and Titania heals for 1 because of Life Leech. She walks once and charges to attack the Hooded Rider, and spends her focus. The attack hits, flips damage at a single negative, resulting in weak damage of 2 and poison +1. She forgets Blood in the Air. Of the Serrated Teeth and Claws upgrade, the rider would have gained Adversary Beast. The Boltangen walks once and charges to attack the Mechanical Rider. The attack hits, and the Boltangen cheats for the coordinated attack trigger, and the rider spends her last fate token to gain a tome and declares her defense trigger Forged in Steel to reduce the damage by 1 for every tome. The Boltangen flips damage at double negative, resulting in weak damage of 2 reduced by 1. The Hooded Rider can attack because of the coordinated attack trigger. Hits after cheating on both sides, flips damage at a single negative, resulting in severe damage of 5, killing the Mechanical Rider. And the strategy marker in this quarter is changed to neutral. The Saber-Tooth Cerberus fails a leap and walks twice. Hinamatsu walks once and attacks the Cerberus, but fails the Terrifying Duel. She succeeds with her bonus action Aggressive Stance, and every enemy model in a pulse of 3 must pass a Willpower 13 duel or gain Distracted +1. The Saber-Tooth fails and would gain Distracted, but has Focus, and after the new rules they cancel each other and the focus is gone. Now the Saber-Tooth and the Rattler push for their deadly pursuit because the Chimera had the initiative, and then the Boltangen pushes. Then we mistake the poison damage. In the heat of things we totally forgot that poison damages +1 for every 3 points after the first. With poison 7, the rider should have suffered 3 damage and got killed. But we just calculate 1 damage to the rider and 1 damage to Titania. Longer gaming pauses cause core rules to fade out of the mind. But as always, lesson learned during editing. And that's what we're here for. To learn things. Am I right? Let's have a look at the victory points. Every crew gains 1 victory point for the strategy because they have at least 1 friendly strategy marker. The Fae Reveal Research Mission, because the Autumn Knight is within 4 inches of a strategy, scheme, and an underbrush marker. So it's 2 to 1 at the end of turn 2. And here is an overview over the battlefield. Turn 3. After stoning, we see the control hand of Marcus and the Chimera, and here of Titania and the Fae. Initiative goes to the Chimera and they gain a pass token. The Scorpius activates and attacks the Hooded Rider, cheats for the hit and flips damage at double negative, resulting in a red Joker damage of 5, killing the Rider. Then it charges to attack the Boltangen, cheats for the hit and declares the Infect trigger, gains a straight damage flip, resulting in severe damage of 4 and poison +3. The Wicked Doll sees the Sabertooth in front of her and walks away as fast as it can, cheats for the Creep Along and walks again to get out of the table quarter. The Sabertooth leaps, changes the strategy marker back to neutral and drops a scheme marker. Titania succeeds in Queen's command and moves the marker in front of her under the Razorspine Rattler, and it suffers 1 point of damage. Then she uses Germinate, cheats for the success and declares the Cradle of Life trigger. She can create a new underbrush marker and place herself in base contact with it. Then she attacks the Scorpius, can cheat down and declares the Into Thorns trigger. The target must be within 2 inches of an underbrush marker, it suffers +1 damage and is placed into base contact with an underbrush marker within 2 inches. Titania flips damage at a single negative, resulting in moderate damage of 3 +1 and reduced by 2 because of the armor. So 2 damage for the Scorpius, and it is placed in base contact with an underbrush marker. Then she attacks Miranda and cheats for the hit. She can declare the Mile Loyal Servant trigger to heal the Boltangen and flips damage at a single negative, resulting in weak damage of 2. And the Boltangen heals for 1. The Razorspine Rattler activates and suffers 1 and Titania heals. It uses Ambush to move 3 inches, and because it is in concealing terrain it must not discard a card for it. Walks once and charges to attack the Gorah. Both spend focus. The attack hits and can declare the Tear of a Bite trigger. Flips damage at a single negative, resulting in weak damage of 2 and poison +1. And the Rattler heals for 2. The Gorah activates and uses its tactical action Mold of the Other to replace itself with the Hooded Rider and cheats for the success. The Rider heals for 3 and has 1 focus and 1 poison, and can continue the activation. He uses his focus to attack the Razorspine. The attack hits flips damage at a single positive, resulting in weak damage of 3, reduced by 1 because of the armor. The Rattler doesn't use its butterfly jump, and the Rider ends its activation. Paul Crooked activates and shoots at Hinamatsu, but misses twice. Then he succeeds in Kick Up Dust and can drop a 50 mil concealing severe dust cloud marker within 3 inches. The dust cloud is removed during the end phase. Aslin charges to attack the Razor Spine Rattler, but both attacks miss. The Jackalope walks once and concentrates. The Boltangen charges to attack Miranda, but both attacks miss. The Fate corrected the mistake because Miranda has disguised and the charge attack wasn't allowed against her. Miranda activates and suffers 1 and Titania heals. She attacks the Boltangen, but the attack misses. Then she uses Primal Flame on the Scorpius and succeeds. The heal receives a positive for each attached mutation upgrade on the target, and heals it for 3. Hinamatsu walks once and charges to attack Paul Crooked. The attack hits, and Paul cheats. Hinamatsu flips damage at double negative because of Paul's ability Natural Mask. Enemy models within an aura of 2 suffer a negative to their damage flips. And Hinamatsu flips the Black Joker and no damage is dealt. And Paul uses his butterfly jump to move 3 inches. Then Hinamatsu uses aggressive stance, but the action fails. Marcus activates, discards his upgrade and attaches it again, and can draw a card. Then he walks twice and interacts with a marker. The Autumn Knight walks once and interacts with the marker. The Hooded Rider and the Boltangen suffer 1 from poison. The Razor Spine Rattler and the Boltangen push for their deadly pursuit. Both crews gain another point for the strategy, and the Chimera reveal Breaktrough. The Cerberus is with a scheme marker in the enemy deployment zone, and no enemy model is within 4 inches of it. So it's 3-3 at the end of turn 3. Turn 4. Here we see the control hand of Marcus and the Chimera. And here of Titania and the Fae. The Fae win the initiative, and because of the leverage ability of Hinamatsu, they gain a pass token. Because the Chimera have revealed schemes. The Hooded Rider charges to attack the Razor Spine Rattler. The Rider cheats for a hit and flips damage at double negative, resulting in weak damage of 3, reduced by 1 because of the armor. The Rattler uses its butterfly jump to move 3 inches. The Rider cheats for his ride with me and attacks again. Hits, flips damage at a single negative, resulting in weak damage of 3 reduced by 1. And the Rattler uses Butterfly Jump to get in base contact with the strategy marker and out of the engagement ranges of Aslan and the Rider. The Rattler activates and uses 2 interact actions to change the strategy marker from enemy to friendly. And the Rattler forgets about Hunker Down and gets no shielded. Aslan charges to attack the Rattler and pushes into base contact with the strategy marker. The attack hits, flips damage at a single negative, resulting in severe damage of 4, killing the Rattler. The strategy marker changes back to neutral and she uses an interact to make it friendly again. Then she succeeds with her bonus action Study and can drop a scheme marker in base contact with the corpse marker and remove the corpse. Miranda activates, suffers 1 and Titania heals back to full health. Then she uses Call of the Wild, needs a 6, succeeds and the Scorpius moves to be outside of Titania's life leech aura. Miranda uses her bonus action Beast Shape. She needs a 6 and can replace herself with an Enforcer Beast or Minion Beast from this crew's declared faction with lower cost than her. At this point we allow Kojo to be the stunt double of another Sabertooth Cerberus because our Chimera player doesn't own another Sabertooth. Miranda replaces without discarding any upgrades, and the new Cerberus attaches the Bestial Form upgrade. With this, it can transform back to Miranda at the start of its activation if it wishes to do so. And the Kojo Miranda, the Cerberus, walks back to Marcus. The Boltangen charges to attack the Scorpius. The attack hits and flips damage at a single negative, resulting in weak damage of 2 reduced to 1. The second attack hits even after a cheat from the Scorpius, and the Boltangen flips damage at a single negative, resulting in moderate damage of 3 reduced to 1. The Scorpius attacks the Boltangen. The attack hits and flips damage at a double negative, resulting in moderate damage of 3, killing the Boltangen. The central strategy marker is changed back to neutral. The Scorpius succeeds in a creep-along and pushes 5 inches towards the Sabertooth on the other side of the board. Then it charges to attack the Autumn Knight. After cheating on both sides, the attack hits with the Infect trigger and flips damage at a single negative, resulting in moderate damage of 3, reduced by 1 because of armor and poison plus 3. The Wicked Doll uses Threaten against the Scorpius, spends a focus and hits. The Scorpius gains Adversary Fey. The doll fails a creep along with the Black Joker and charges head over heels to attack the Scorpius, but the attack misses. The Jackalope walks and charges to attack the Wicked Doll, spends a focus for the attack, hits, can flip damage at a single positive, resulting in moderate damage of 2, cheats a severe and kills the doll. We change the strategy marker in the lower left back to neutral. Quick note from editing, that is actually wrong. The strategy marker wording says when a friendly model kills an enemy model, and the Jackalope is insignificant and is ignored for strategies and schemes, so the marker wouldn't change. Hinamatsu changes the marker in the upper right to neutral and walks around it to engage Paul. Then she succeeds with her aggressive stance, and Paul fails the willpower duel and gains distracted +1. The Sabertooth in the upper left changes the strategy marker to friendly, drops a scheme marker, and succeeds with a leap. The Autumn Knight activates and suffers 1 damage from poison. Because of the catalyst aura of the Scorpius, every model within 3 inches with poison suffers 1 point of damage at the start of its activation. The Knight attacks, but the Scorpius flips the red Joker. The second attack hits after cheating, and she can flip damage at double negative, resulting in moderate damage of 3, reduced to 1. Marcus activates, discards and reattaches his upgrade to draw a card. Then he uses Chimerancy to attach armored plates to the Cerberus, needs at least a 9 and it goes off. He succeeds with his bonus action Primal Roar and can declare the inbuilt trigger Evolutionary Superiority. Friendly Chimera models within a pulse of 6 inches can move 3 inches, but because of the trigger, 1 inch extra for each mutation upgrade on them. A 6-inch move for the Cerberus. Marcus takes the Concentrate action and targets the Cerberus with Call of the Wild, but the action fails. Titania flies once and attacks the Scorpius with her Awakened Hunger. She gains a positive to her attack because the Scorpius has Adversary Fey. The attack would miss, but she can cheat the red Joker and declares the Into Thorns trigger. Flips damage at a single negative, resulting in weak damage of 2 plus 1 for Thorns, reduced by 2 because of armor, and the Scorpius is placed in base contact with the Underbrush marker. Then she succeeds her Queen's command with the Land Obeys trigger, and moves the marker under the Scorpius. It suffers 1 damage and is killed because we miscalculated its health. Actually, the Scorpius had 1 wound left, but in the heat of battle sometimes math fails. The strategy marker in the lower right changes back to neutral. Titania succeeds in her trigger action and moves another marker. Then she flies to the center of the board. Paul takes the Concentrate action to gain focused, but just removes the Distracted and walks a bit to the side. The Sabertooth to the right moves with his Deadly Pursuit, and the Autumn Knight suffers 1 from poison. And that's the end of turn 4. No crew gains points for the strategy, but both can reveal hidden Martyrs. The Chimera on the Razor Spine Rattler and Paul Crooked, and the Fae on the Boltangen and the Autumn Knight. So it's 4-4 at the end of turn 4. Turn 5. We see the control hand of Marcus and his Chimera, and here of Titania and her Fae. The Fae win the initiative and gain 1 pass token because of the leverage ability of Hinamatsu. The puppet of Swirling Death herself activates to attack Paul Crooked. The attack hits, and Paul cheats up. Hinamatsu declares the Onslaught trigger and flips damage at double negative, resulting in weak damage of 2. And Paul moves because of his butterfly jump. He moves out of Hinamatsu's engagement range and the onslaught attack cannot target him. Then Hinamatsu interacts with the strategy marker to change him to friendly. The Jackalope suffers 1 and Titania is still on full health and it walks to engage Titania. The Autumn Knight interacts with the strategy marker and walks a bit to the side. Paul concentrates and walks to engage Hinamatsu. Aslin, right behind the tree, interacts with the strategy marker and walks around it. The Sabertooth, right behind another tree, drops a scheme marker, succeeds with its leap and drops another scheme marker. The Fae spend a pass token and Marcus activates, draws a card and discards to hand size. He succeeds in a Call of the Wild and the Kojo Sabertooth can move. He then walks around the marker and claims it for the Chimera. The Hooded Rider walks in position for the research mission. The Kojo Sabertooth succeeds in a leap, places on the other side of the strategy marker and interacts twice to bring it back to neutral and claim it for the Chimera. Titania activates in a last attempt to change the course of these bloody negotiations. She succeeds in a Queen's command to move the marker out of the way, spends a stone for a mask on Germinate to create a new one and places herself in base contact with it because of the Cradle of Life. Then she attacks Paul with her Awakened Hunger and spends a stone for a positive to the attack flip. The attack would hit, Paul cheats the red Joker, but the Queen can tie with a 13. Flips damage at double negative, resulting in weak damage of 2 and injured +1. Titania attacks again, spending another focus. The attack would hit, but Paul cheats a 13. Titania accepts, and the turf war is over. The Fae gain their second point for research mission. The Chimera gain 1 point for the strategy and their second point for breakthrough, but Paul is not above half of his wounds for hidden martyrs. So the Chimera win with 6-5. A really close call for the tie, because in the last attack the injured on Paul was forgotten, and do you remember the 11 in Titania's control hand? That would have guaranteed the hit and the kill on Paul. With Paul dead, the strategy marker would have been back to neutral and it would have been a tie. Why am I so sure that it would have been the kill, you ask? Because I checked the top 4 cards of the untouched deck because I was curious in the debriefing. Make of the result what you will. The 6-5 was sealed by a handshake and the corrected math came afterwards. And that brings us to the end of this battle report. I hope you liked it. Let me know in the comments down below and consider subscribing if you haven't already. It really helps. Thank you for staying until the end. I hope you will always find a handful of soul stones in your pocket, because you never know upon whom or what you will stumble out there. This was Julian speaking, and I hope to see you soon for another battle report out of the breach. Let's have a look at the victory points. Every crew gains one victory point. This is Germany. Miranda activates, suffers 1 and Titania. Nice.